Yeah, quick agenda. So I'm going to touch quickly on the healthcare portfolio that we have. A lot of you guys have known us over the years, but just wanted to touch quickly on that product strategy I mentioned, and then the healthcare, the InterSystems Data Studio with health module that Nicole is going to talk about. So our health portfolio, so things I will focus here mostly here today is the green part. So IRIS for health, which is the core technology that we have, and that's a technology on which we've built things for healthcare interoperability and data management, like the fire services and Health Connect. So Health Connect is what a lot of you guys would probably know as the Ensemble framework. So that was a very old name that we had, but that's with what customers use to solve healthcare interoperability problem and build solutions on top. HealthShare Unified Care Record and our InterSystems EMRs like TrackCare and Telecare, the development team actually use IRIS for Health in order to build the solutions on top. So all of the features and functionality that exists in IRIS for Health is actually reused and leveraged by these development teams. I've broken in two categories this offering. So the healthcare interoperability side, think of all the different data types that exist in healthcare and the tools that we have to ingest that data, transform it, validate it, verify the quality of that in order to make it and then able to share it down to downstream systems. So in a healthcare interoperability solution, so you might just be taking data from one source, transforming it, sending it to another source, or you might send it to an analytics platform for reporting. One of the things with the healthcare interoperability, and Ben and Amy explained that, is the big push we've had in the last 4 or 5 years with our cloud offering with healthcare interoperability. So the cloud offering brings things and the tooling that you'll need, for example, with change control and CI/CD tools that my emergency doctor are using, the high availability and disaster recovery capabilities, as well as also managing upgrades. So one of the things that we found with our customers is that it's very hard to keep up with the latest version of our products, and managing these upgrades is quite challenging. So that's where the cloud offering helps you with that and allows you to keep you up to date with the latest versions of our InterSystems IRIS for Health platform. On the application development and data management side, so think of in your organization or whether in your application that you develop, there's a lot of data sources that you will be dealing with. And here are some of the features and capability that we have that allows you to extract the best out of that data, whether it is for your application that you're going to serve, or whether it is to send to third-party applications, or even AI and analytics platform. So what we're doing in that space, we're investing a lot in low-code, no-code tooling in order to manipulate and work with that data, development tools, and using new technologies like Python in order to help with the development of your applications, and also AI and ML capabilities. There's a couple of examples and that we'll show in this presentation on how we've used these features in IRIS for Health in order to develop these AI and ML capabilities. So just looking at the strategy now, so I'll pick probably the top 5 most important things that we're working on. The transition to cloud. So there is a lot of investment that the company is doing in managed services. And basically that translates into an API first approach in everything that we do and we develop. So these APIs will be able to access. Yes, so these APIs then allow us to have a real cloud first approach in terms of our offerings in the cloud, and really offer that platform as a service offering that you guys can then use and build your interoperability solution or your data management solutions on top. Faster data exchange is another theme that we're working on. New adapters within the interoperability, big focus on data quality and tooling to improve that. And also FAR is a big source of investment and focus on our strategy as well. Modern UX, so there's a big revamp that we're doing on our user interface. A lot of our long-time customers, if you've played with the 2025.1 version, so the recent version released earlier in the year, you would have seen there's a big change in the user interface and the experience with the tooling that we have for interoperability. And again, that goes along to make the user experience much simpler when you're developing your solutions using that low-code approach, but also to help with the general cloud portal experience. Data management, we're always bringing things, and the data studio is what Nicole is going to cover to talk a bit about that new product and the data governance that it provides. And also in terms of AI, so there is a lot of pressure, or I would say, to try to push features using AI into the product. But the approach we're taking, the most important part is not necessarily to have AI, but the trusted part. So we are trading carefully on that side. And we do have some examples of what we're doing. But we are careful that the data that we're dealing here is healthcare data. So we've got to be very careful and progressively introduce these features. At the core of all of that, there's three main tenets. So the speed, scalability, and security. So this is a common theme that especially very long-time customers would have known us for, that we carry on, and that's really part of our DNA and heritage. Next two slides, I'm going to go through the roadmap, both for FAR and interoperability. I'm not going to talk about everything that's on the slide, but this is what the view that you have, short-term and long-term, on what we're working on. One thing with bulk FAR, you will see a lot of bulk FAR features there. So a lot of customers that have chosen different FAR repository solutions are actually experiencing a lot of challenges with scalability. So there is a standard in FAR called bulk FAR that allows you to extract the data in bulk, and we are developing a lot of capability in order to help them move from their platform into ours using that. There's also, in the a bit medium term, improvement to keep up with the latest version of FAR. For example, FAR subscription. That's a big feature in the R6 version of FAR that we are working on to bring into the product. And also longer term, things more around scalability. So using sharding in our products, table partitioning, in order to make things faster and more scalable within our offering. With interoperability, the main theme here is around data quality and faster access to data and security. There are things like, for example, the DTL explanation, where we are using AI and large language models in order to bring the ability to explain what's a DTL. So a DTL, for those that don't know, it's called a data transformation language. So that's basically the tooling that we have to transform data from one format to the other. And a lot of times challenges that customers have on onboarding new staff is to explain to them, hey, what is interface? How is it built? Specifications are not kept up to date. So that feature allows them to quickly provide an explanation of this is what the data is being transformed from source to target here. Other things we're working on, in addition to the UX program we're working, is improved business process tooling that we have to improve that experience, and also the message hub that will be quite interesting in the ways of searching through messages and also having that full traceability and visibility of messages flowing through interoperability. Back to the topic of AI, because we kind of have to mention that. A lot of things is, so a lot of pressure we have is, hey, bring in AI features and bring that into, especially our cloud offering. We do want to use it. A lot of time, business people say, yeah, OpenAI is there, ChatGPT has been there for 2 years, so just subscribe to the API and let's start doing something, okay? I did mention that we're trading carefully with that, but there are things we are doing which are a bit low risk. So for example, we are integrating with large language models in order to bring things, these features like the data explanation, DTL explanation, the FAR query builder, so to allow you to build FAR queries. But also we're looking at the harder side of things as well. So when you talk about AI and large language models, the large language model is really a model that will allow you to use Gen AI to provide insights. But you also have the need sometimes, if you want to use AI to do transformation, you need to have what we call a fine-tuned model. And that fine-tuned model is something that's we're working on, and it's quite complicated to do. And what we are seeing when we're talking to customers is that they want to use their own data to train these fine-tuned models. So that's where we have a dedicated fine-tuning model. So all this is to show you is there's complexity in bringing AI into the picture in terms of interoperability and data management, and also architecture features. For example, one of the new things we're working on is to have FAR data being able to interact using MCP. So for those who don't know what MCP is, it's called Model Context Protocol. So basically it's a protocol that allows AI agents to get data externally, or even to execute tools and services. Basically, it's a language for AI agents to talk to each other and externally as well. So we're bringing that into the product, but there's a lot of architecture changes to that. And here I'm just putting an example here on how, let's say with fire data, we usually do the fire query using that get URL there. With MCP, we are able to translate that into a tool that will run and say, yeah, give me the active problems. And in order to work that way, if I layer it on what we have existing is a fire server capability, the MCP connector is coming, okay? And what it will do will translate basically an AI intent into the native fire call, but also the ability to talk externally with an AI orchestrator, for example, and expose your MCP endpoint to other AI agents and use the fire data in that agentic AI framework. There is a lot of mention about security in the morning, so I'm not going to go through all of that, but it is something at the core of everything we're doing. We are keeping that in mind. We have some concerns. For example, one interesting one I found is the model poisoning, where you could have malicious actors actually trying to corrupt your training data and then fool the model. So we have to be very careful about these things. And also things about anything to do with AI implementations. We want to keep these design principles of security first into everything we do. I'll pass on to Nicole now. Thanks.
I'm going to introduce our new offer, InterSystems Data Studio with the health module. So before we talk about product itself, I want to discuss what's going on in the market now. So we have got so many data, it's a data explosion. So, and approximately 30% of data are generated by healthcare in this world. So it is very exciting news, and we can use this data to do AI, to improve patient experience, to do research, make a patient, make this world a lot healthier place. So it is an exciting thing. However, there is a challenge, data acquisition. So how can we get accurate data? How can we get access data securely? This is all the problem we need to face before we can do data analytics, before we can do AI, large language, all these things, machine learning. So we identified 3 key data opportunities here. So therefore, we can, once we resolve these issues, then we can have unlock this data magic. So first, we need to make sure data can be seen as a reusable asset. So with one view, then we can use it for cross-system for many downstream applications. Then we need to have a really rich governance for the data. From a central location, we can monitoring and provisioning data. So then we need data, we can enable data exploration. So the scientists, the data analysts, they can discover data, and their relationships across all the resources, so they can trace what's going on with the data from history. So InterSystems Data Studio with healthcare is the tool can help you to unlock these opportunities to make your data more useful. So with this offer, so this InterSystems Data Studio is not totally new, just happened today. It has been around for a while. It has been used for many industries in the world. However, in the last 18 months, we start to build up this offer to be more domain specific. So now we have offer for health module here, which is more relevant to people here, and we also have supply chain and lots of finance, different models. So this is a cloud offer, as has been mentioned for many times. So you can use, more focus on your data, not worry about technology behind. You can use a local, no-code experience to build your data solutions. And you will have AI assistant at back to support you to analyze how you want to do your solutions. So with the health module, what it gives to you, you will have healthcare connectors and healthcare data set, data model to help you to deal with your health data. You can expand them, and it supports fire and much more. So all of this is under one common governance, which means is you don't need to worry about diverse security policies around. You don't need to worry about the mismatch, this metadata, like they can be problematic. So consider this scenario. We want to understand the impact of the image machine availability and the staff scheduling in the emergency department. And you know where data exists, and you know where to find a target data model to save to. However, you're anxious about access to the data because it's live data, it's related to people's life, and there's a risk. And you're anxious about the budget constraint. You don't want to guess the actions, what's right, what's wrong. You want to make efficient decision, efficient and correct decision. So that means you need trusted curated data to support you to make this decision. So, however, IT department, it can take weeks for them to gather data, then to integrate data. And even after integrate data, they need time and lots of effort to make sure the data is up to date. It's all the problem there. It's very difficult. And keep this in mind. Let's have a look at the video. So let's see how this new offer can help you to resolve this kind of problem. So this is an overview of an active system pipeline management screen. To create a trusted data pipeline, first, you need to connect to your data. So let's see how it works. This is a use case, use the main data source EPR to connect with your InterSystems Data Studio. So you can connect with the studio with just a few configurations, parameters. Then you can also test the connections immediately afterwards. Then once it's securely connected into, in this case, it's IntelliCare, we can import data schemas. For example, emergency imaging orders. At this stage, we add only data table schema. It's in the data catalog where engineers, analysts can browse what is available to them. Schemas and data models are available through the data catalog, so you can view fields, attributes, enrich your data descriptions. The same workflow applies to any other data sources. Now we have the access and understanding of our data schema and the target model. We can start to build a data pipeline just in a few steps. First, stage the schema by selecting fields we care about. Then apply transformation. For example, tuning turn step into status. Then we can validate data to guarantee quality input. So every time the pipeline is running, you can easily spot and fix errors when the incoming data you can see. Then we can reconcile. If you want to try to join table together, you want to make sure everything links correctly. Finally, we can promote it into your previously defined target data model. Now we are defining a new promotion activities here. Create a new promotion item using guided SQL statement UI to select from staging table what the data we want to bring to your final data model. Just a few clicks. Then we select the target schema. Then you can use the auto map feature to quickly relate source and target fields together. Regardless type of data, same workflow can apply to the different sources, data, and in the same data pipeline. So you can also leverage optional healthcare data sets, data models to expand these capabilities. So now you have got data pipeline set. You can bring your data in by running pipeline manually, or you can run it on schedule. So now the data is ready, so you can connect InterSystems Data Studio with any analytics tools you like. For example, Tableau. You can visualize the data. We just build a pipeline, it comes through that pipeline, and you can build your own dashboard. Let's have a look at MRI bring schedules. This is the critical schedule. We can see many of them completed in an hour and many of them canceled. Why? So with Data Studio feeding curated data into Tableau, we can view the imaging, machine availability, and staff scheduling together. So these data are coming through the same pipeline. What we find is the procedure between 10 to 1 are completed, but the ones scheduled after 1 o'clock are canceled. We need to find the reason. Then we found the staff certified to operate MRI machine isn't scheduled beyond 1 p.m. With this insight, the fix is very simple. Your organization just need to reschedule the staff. So what's the best part? the new data being created inside of pipeline, it will be automatically get, the pipeline will automatically get it for you, and you don't need to redo any manual job. So build it once, and it can be used for many times. So that was the InterSystems Data Studio, how it can help to resolve the problem we mentioned before the video. And it makes it it's almost, you don't need an IT department to, take so much effort, deal with data. It's not required anymore. Just with this automatic process, it can make it happen. So now, come back to the Data Studio itself. It has got another capability, is the AI assistance. Now, we like to talk about AI. So it's built on top of IRIS data platform, make AI possible. Before the data is stored, even before data is inside of this pipeline, the AI assistant help user to, help to identify what are the useful tables are, what are the useful fields, and to identify possible SQL, SQL expressions. So I just stop here so you can see what kind of suggestions they can provide as the AI assistant for people who are trying to build this pipeline. So then it can also deal with the data which is inside of pipeline to plot results in visual outputs like this. So it is a very powerful tool to help you to have curated data, to make data available for data analytics, for AI, for machine learning. So you might wonder when it will be available. So at the moment it's in early access program. So this year, next year sometime, it will be available as a GA release. So these are the features for health module. So it's built for health. So there are libraries and connectors, vocabularies you can use. And as a Data Studio itself, it has got core improvements like a granular data governance and more. So looking to the future a bit. We have planned to short-term, medium-term, even future. So you can see a lot more healthcare-related features we'll build into it to make it more easier to deal with health data. And just like everything else now, we will support more and more AI features, like knowledge base for RAG through APIs, Fire SQL AI Copilot, and it can support external agent connectors. So finally, there's the last slide I want to share with you. We have been talking about AI, talking about lots of things. You might want to sneak peek inside a bit how this Data Studio get built together with its AI assistants. So you can see we have got user here, and we got lots of data. This user might just doing something like data cataloging, and these things will be saved in database. And external data will be, continuously goes in. It can be Fire, it can be SQL, it can be, PDF, anything. So all of these data, once they get into Data Studio, it will be saved in our IRIS database. So IRIS database is the, backend core of the core, just like lots of our other offers. That's how we make our solution powerful, more useful. Once data is inside of IRIS database, so we leverage this LLM vendor on the cloud to do embedding conversions, to computing these embeddings, indexing them, and save it in our IRIS vector database. So I'm not sure if you're aware, IRIS has got this vector data capability. So this makes it possible for external system, for the system built on top of data, IRIS can do their AI solutions. So with this, the base inside here, so we also build a reasoning model for this IRIS InterSystems Data Studio. The AI assistant starts to talk to this reasoning model. The reasoning model is a bit more than just a RAG. So it also interacts with the agents. So the agent concept Andrew has already explained this morning. I hope you have a bit, idea how it works. So with this system, we'll have multiple agents. Depends on the role who access this system, it will pick different agents to work with it. Sometimes multiple, sometimes just one. So this agent will search inside of this vector database and find the relevant, relevant information, and process this information through LLM, then finally return the result, the answer to the reasoning model. So reasoning model will summarize all these answers provided by these agents, then finally aggregate them and feedback to the user. That's how it works. So here I introduce these, not just want to show you IDS architecture that, as a one single purpose. I want to inspire you to build your own solution with IRIS Data Platform. So with its own, database capability, the fast one, the fast database, and the vector capability. I think that's the end.